The gunshot echoes through the snow-covered alley before the body hits the ground. Blood spreads across white frost like spilled wine on a tablecloth, steam rising from the wound into the frozen Busan air. Kang Dae-hyun stands over the corpse, his breath forming clouds that disappear into the December darkness. His hand doesn't shake. It never does. But inside his chest, something cold and ancient stirs, counting down the days until Christmas like a death clock he cannot silence. 3 weeks. That's all he has left. The city lights blur through the falling snow as Dae-hyun walks away from the body, his black coat collecting flakes that melt against expensive fabric. Behind him, his men are already moving, cleaning, erasing. This is routine. Blood washes away. Bodies disappear. The Kang family has ruled Busan's underworld for 6 generations, and Dae-hyun learned young that mercy is just another word for weakness. But tonight, something feels different.
Wrong.
His phone buzzes. A text from his grandmother. Come home. The altar is waiting. Dae-hyun's jaw tightens. He hasn't been home in 3 years. Hasn't faced that altar, those photographs, that suffocating incense smoke that smells like grief and broken promises. Every face staring down from those pictures died the same way, all men who made the same mistake, all buried before New Year's Day. His father, his grandfather, his uncle, all dead within days of falling in love. The curse doesn't discriminate. It just kills. Inside his penthouse, Dae-hyun pours whiskey with steady hands and stares at the city below. Christmas lights twinkle like stars that fell and forgot how to rise. Families walk together on streets he controls, laughing, holding hands, living lives he will never understand. His reflection in the window shows a man carved from ice, handsome in the way predators are beautiful, all sharp edges and controlled violence. He's 34. Untouched. Untouchable. And he plans to keep it that way. If you're watching this story, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. You're about to witness something you won't forget.
Trust me.
And turn on notifications, because what happens next will haunt you long after this video ends. The drive to his family estate takes 40 minutes through snow that's getting heavier. The gates open automatically, recognizing his car, and the traditional Hanok house looms ahead like a monument to everything he's tried to escape. Red lanterns hang from the eaves, but there's nothing festive about them. They look like warning lights. His grandmother waits at the entrance, tiny and terrifying in her hanbok, her face a map of wrinkles that have witnessed too much death. You came, she says. Not a greeting. An accusation. You summoned me. The curse is restless this year. Can you feel it? Dae-hyun brushes past her into the house, but yes, he feels it. That crawling sensation under his skin, like insects made of ice. The ancestral hall sits at the heart of the house, and someone has placed a small Christmas tree beside the altar, an absurd collision of cultures that makes his stomach turn. Why is that here? He asks, gesturing at the tree. Your mother put it there. Before she died. She said even cursed men deserve Christmas. His mother. Dead at 32, 3 days after his father. Heart attack, the doctors said. Broken heart, his grandmother corrected. Same thing. The altar holds 5 generations of photographs. Young men, all of them. Handsome, powerful, dead. Dae-hyun lights the incense because tradition demands it, and the smoke coils upward like reaching fingers. I won't make their mistake, he says quietly. His grandmother laughs, bitter as burnt tea. That's what they all said. Love doesn't ask permission, boy. It just comes. And when it does, she touches his father's photograph. You'll understand why they chose it anyway. I won't choose it. I'll end the Choi family conflict by New Year's. Secure our territory. Then I'll name a successor and disappear. The curse can't kill what it can't find. You think you can outrun destiny? His grandmother's eyes glitter in the candlelight. Your father tried that too. Lasted 6 months before he met your mother in a bookstore. 6 months of running, and love found him anyway. Dae-hyun doesn't respond. He won't. He can't. Because 3 blocks from this house, In a small church he's driven past 1,000 times without noticing, a woman is singing. The sound reaches him through the falling snow 2 nights later, carried on wind that shouldn't be able to travel that far. Dae-hyun is walking back from a meeting with the Choi family's mediator, negotiations that went nowhere because the Choi's want blood and he's running out of alternatives to give them. His bodyguards trail 10 steps behind, silent shadows in expensive suits. But that voice stops him cold. It's not Korean, not English. Something older, rooted deeper, rising and falling with a rhythm that bypasses his brain and goes straight to his chest. The small church sits wedged between a convenience store and a pharmacy, so easy to miss he's certain he's never seen it before. Warm light spills from its windows, and through the glass, he sees her. Black skin glowing amber in candlelight, hair wrapped in colorful fabric, hands raised like she's holding something sacred between her palms. She sings alone in an empty church, and every note lands in Dae-hyun's chest like a stone dropped in still water. His feet move before his brain approves. The door opens with a soft creak. The singing stops. She turns, and for a moment that stretches too long, they just look at each other. "I'm sorry," Dae-hyun says in Korean. "I didn't mean to interrupt." She blinks, surprised. Answers in accented but clear Korean. "It's okay." The door is always open. Her smile is careful, polite. "Are you here to pray?" "I don't pray." "Then why are you here?" Good question. Excellent question. Dae-hyun doesn't have an answer that makes sense, so he tells the truth. "I heard you singing." Her expression shifts, something guarded sliding behind her eyes. "I sing every night. You're the first person who's ever come in because of it. Maybe I'm the first person who heard it." She studies him the way you study something dangerous, measuring threat levels, calculating exits. Smart woman. She should be afraid. Men like him don't wander into churches at night with good intentions. But then she gestures to a pew. "Sit if you want. I'm almost finished." He should leave. He should turn around and walk out and forget this place exists. Instead, Dae-hyun sits on hardwood worn smooth by decades of prayer and watches her return to her song. She doesn't sing in Korean. He doesn't recognize the language, but he understands the feeling, something about longing and home and distances that can't be measured in miles. When she finishes, the silence feels sacred. "I'm Zola," she says, sitting 3 pews ahead, maintaining distance. "Zola Adebayo." Dae-hyun. Just Dae-hyun? No family name? It's complicated. She laughs, soft and knowing. "Everything in Korea is complicated for people who look like me." "How long have you been here?" 3 years. "I came to teach English. Stayed because leaving felt harder than staying." She tilts her head. "You're not here to pray. You don't go to church, but you came in anyway. What are you really doing here?" Dae-hyun meets her eyes. Dark brown, almost black, reflecting candlelight like polished stones. "I don't know." That's honest, at least. "You're South African?"
Yes.
"Johannesburg." She stands, begins collecting him books. "And you're Busan born and raised." "I can tell by your accent." "What else can you tell?" She pauses, a book halfway to the shelf. "That you're not used to people saying no to you. That you're dangerous. And that you're sad in a way you don't let anyone see." She turns, looks directly at him. "Am I wrong?" No one has spoken to him like this in years. Maybe ever. People either fear him or want something from him. They don't look at him and see sadness. They see power, money, violence. They see the Kong air, the monster in a suit. But this woman sees something else. "You're not wrong," he admits. Zola nods slowly. "Then I'll tell you what I tell everyone who comes here looking lost. You're welcome. Come back if you need to. But don't bring your darkness inside these walls. Whatever you do out there, leave it at the door. And if I can't, then don't come back."
She means it.
He can see it in the set of her shoulders, the lift of her chin. She's not afraid of him. She's just firm, boundaried, protective of this space. Dae-hyun stands. "Thank you for letting me listen. Thank you for not being a creep about it. You'd be surprised how low that bar is." He almost smiles. Almost. Good night, Zola. Good night, just Dae-hyun. He's at the door when she speaks again. By the way, whatever you're carrying, it's heavy. I can see it on your shoulders. You should put it down before it crushes you. Dae-hyun doesn't answer. He just walks out into the snow, back to his car, back to his world of blood and money and inherited death. His bodyguards don't ask where he's been. They know better. But that night, in his family home, the ancestral tablet cracks straight down the middle. The sound wakes the entire house. His grandmother finds him standing in the altar room, staring at the split with like it's a sentence written in a language he wishes he couldn't read. What did you do? She whispers. Nothing. I didn't do anything. The curse knows. It always knows. Her hand shakes as she touches the broken tablet. You met someone. I went to a church. I heard singing. That's all. That's never all. Not for men like us. His grandmother backs away from the altar, fear sharp in her eyes. Stay away from her. Whoever she is, whatever you felt, kill it now. Or she'll be dead by New Year's, and so will you. I'm not going back. You're lying. To me, and to yourself.
She's right. He knows she's right.
But 5 days later, Dae-hyun is standing outside that church again, watching Zola through the window, trying to convince himself he's just making sure she's safe. That his interest is protective, not personal. That he can walk away anytime. He doesn't walk away. He goes inside. This time she's not alone. 3 elderly Korean women sit in the front pew, listening as Zola reads from a worn Bible in Korean that's better than his bodyguard's English. She looks up when he enters, and something flickers across her face. Not quite surprise. Almost like she expected him. Back again, she says. The door was open. It's a church. That's kind of our thing. The old women turn to stare at him with suspicious eyes that have seen enough of life to recognize danger when it walks through the door. One of them mutters something in dialect about wolves in sheep's clothing. She's not wrong. Dae-hyun sits in the back and listens to Zola's voice shape Korean words with an accent that makes them sound new, foreign, beautiful. When the reading ends and the women leave, casting him dark looks, Zola approaches with a thermos and 2 cups. Tea, she offers. You're not afraid of me. Should I be? Most people are. She pours dark liquid that smells like rooibos and honey. Most people probably have good reason. But you've had 2 chances to hurt me, and you've just sat quietly both times. Either you're playing a very long game, or you're actually here for the reason you said. I'm choosing to believe the second one. Why? Because I'm an optimist. Also, I'm tired of being afraid of every man who looks at me. Korea is wonderful, but it's lonely. So, if you're just a sad man who likes church music, I'll take the risk. Dae-hyun accepts the tea. It's warm.
Sweet.
Nothing like the bitter green tea his grandmother forces on him. I don't like church music. I like your voice.
Smooth.
Do Korean women fall for that? I wouldn't know. I don't talk to women.
Zola laughs outright.
Okay, that's definitely a line. It's the truth. Something in his tone makes her pause, really look at him. You're serious? Very. Then why me? Why are you here? Because the curse is counting down. Because his ancestral tablet cracked. Because when he closes his eyes at night, he hears her singing and for 10 seconds, he forgets he's going to die. Because she looked at him and saw sadness instead of power, and that single moment of being seen as human instead of monster has unraveled 3 decades of careful control. But he can't say any of that. So he says, I don't know. I really don't. Zola sits beside him, careful to maintain space between their bodies. Okay, here's what I think. I think you're running from something. I think you're tired. I think you found a quiet place and you're trying to figure out if you deserve to stay. You read all that from 2 visits. I read people. It's how I survived teaching teenagers. She sips her tea. Also, you have blood on your shoe. Small spot. Right heel. So whatever you're running from, it's probably something I should be terrified of. But I'm going to trust my gut and give you a chance to be different than what you probably are. Dae-hyun looks down. She's right. He cleaned his hands, his coat, but he missed the shoe. Amateur mistake. Fatal mistake, potentially. I should go, he says. Probably. But will you? Yes. Liar. She's smiling when she says it, testing him, and Dae-hyun realizes this woman is far more dangerous than any rival gang member he's ever faced. She disarms him without trying. Makes him want to be honest in a world where honesty gets you killed. If I come back, he starts carefully, what would I be walking into?
Da.
Music. Conversation. Maybe friendship, if you're lucky. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing romantic. Definitely not. I don't date. Not here. Not anymore. Learned that lesson the hard way. Something protective flares in his chest. Someone hurt you? Someone tried. I handled it. Her voice goes flat, distant. I came to Korea to escape a marriage my family arranged. A man I didn't choose. They said it was tradition, that my ancestors demanded it, that refusing meant spiritual death. She sets her cup down. So I ran. Gave up everything. My family doesn't speak to me anymore. Says I'm cursed now, spiritually unprotected, that I'll pay for my defiance. Do you believe that? Some days. Other days I think freedom is worth any curse. She looks at him. Why do you ask? Because I understand. Understanding curses or running from family? Both. The air between them shifts, charged with recognition. Two people fleeing different prisons, finding each other in this small warm space between worlds. It should feel like nothing. It should mean nothing. But the weight in Dae-hyun's chest says otherwise. Before you keep watching, I need you to do something. Drop a comment below. Tell me, would you choose love if you knew it would kill you? Be honest. And hit that like button if the story is already getting under your skin. Because we're just getting started. Over the next 2 weeks, Dae-hyun returns to the church 7 times. He tells himself it's strategic, that he's simply checking on a potential vulnerability, that a woman alone in his territory needs monitoring. But the truth sits heavier than his lies. He goes because her voice quiets the countdown in his head. Because when they talk, wrapped in the smell of candle wax and old wood, he forgets he's a dead man walking. Zola tells him about Johannesburg, about sunshine that lasts all day, about family dinners loud with argument and laughter. He tells her nothing real, just surface details, safe lies. But she listens anyway, like even his fabrications are worth her time. You're a terrible liar, she says one night, catching him in a contradiction about his supposed office job. I'm an excellent liar. You're just unusually perceptive. So, what's the truth? Businessman? Criminal? Secret agent? She's joking. Mostly. Does it matter? That's not an answer. It's the only answer I can give. She studies him in the candlelight, and he watches her decide. She could push. She could demand. She could throw him out and never let him return. Instead, she says, okay, keep your secrets. But if they follow you here, if they put anyone in danger, I'll never forgive you. I won't let that happen. You can't promise that. I can try. She nods slowly. Then try. They're sitting closer now. Not touching, but near enough that he can smell her perfume, something warm and spiced. Her hand rests on the pew between them, and his is 6 inches away, and those 6 inches feel like an ocean he shouldn't cross. But he wants to.
God, he wants to.
Outside, snow falls heavier than before. Christmas is 12 days away. The Choi family negotiations have collapsed. Violence is coming, inevitable as winter. Dae-hyun should be planning, strategizing, fortifying his position. Instead, he's sitting in a church, memorizing the way Zola's laugh sounds when he says something unintentionally funny. You're staring, she says softly.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Just tell me why. You make me feel human. The words escape before he can trap them. Vulnerable, naked, true. Zola's eyes widen slightly, and he sees her process this confession, test it for manipulation, find it genuine. Dae-hyun, she whispers. What are you involved in? Nothing you should be near. Then why are you here? Because I'm selfish. Because I know I should stay away and I can't. Because. He stops, swallows hard. Because you're the first good thing I've touched in years, and I'm terrified of what that means. Zola's hand moves. Just an inch. Closer. I'm scared too, she admits.
Of this. Of you.
Of whatever you're not telling me. But I'm also, I don't know, curious?
Drawn?
That sounds stupid. It sounds honest. Honesty is dangerous. So is this. Her fingers brush his.
Light.
Accidental. Electric. Across the city, in the Kong family estate, the altar candles blow out simultaneously. His grandmother screams. The ancestral tablets crack further, splintering like bones under pressure. She calls Dae-hyun 17 times. He doesn't answer. Can't answer. Because Zola is telling him about the ritual marriage she ran from, and he's telling her about the curse he can't escape, and they're speaking in metaphors but understanding perfectly. Two people trapped by blood and tradition and expectations that crush instead of guide. Do you believe in curses? He asks. I believe in consequences. In choices. In the weight of history. She turns her palm up, an invitation. I believe some things are worth the risk. He shouldn't take her hand. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. His fingers slide against hers. The church lights flicker. Once.
Twice.
Zola notices, but doesn't pull away. That's weird, she says. Old building. Old wiring. You sure?
No.
She laughs, nervous now, but she doesn't let go. They sit like that, hands joined, breathing in rhythm, until her watch alarm beeps midnight and she pulls away reluctantly. I have to go. Early shift at the hospital tomorrow. You work at the hospital? I volunteer. Pediatric ward. Read to the kids. She gathers her things. You could come with me sometime. If you want. I don't think children should be around me. I think you'd surprise yourself. She leaves first. Always does, and Dae-hyun sits in the empty church and feels the walls close in. His phone has 32 missed calls. 3 from his grandmother. 5 from his second-in-command. 24 from numbers he doesn't recognize. All warning him. All too late. He drives home through streets that feel hostile, like the city itself is turning against him. At the estate, his grandmother waits in the courtyard, snow collecting in her white hair. You touched her. Yes. You felt it. Yes. And you're going back. Dae-hyun doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. His grandmother's face crumples. You're just like your father.
Just like all of them.
So certain you'll be different. So certain love is worth the cost. She grabs his arm, surprisingly strong. She'll die, Dae-hyun. You'll watch her die. You'll hold her body and know you killed her, and then the curse will take you too. Is that what you want? I want to feel something other than empty. Emptiness keeps you alive. Then maybe I don't want to be alive. The words hang frozen in the winter air. His grandmother releases him, staggering back like he struck her. Get inside, she says finally. The elders are waiting. The meeting room smells like tobacco and disappointment. 8 men, all older than his father would have been. All survivors because they never loved. They made themselves into stone, untouchable, safe. Their eyes track Dae-hyun with pity and anger mixed equally. Elder Song speaks first. We've heard about the church woman. There's nothing to hear. The tablets are cracking. The altar candles won't stay lit. The curse knows, boy. You can't hide from it. Dae-hyun stands at the head of the table, hands behind his back, face empty. I haven't broken any rules. You've touched her. The curse doesn't need more than that. Elder Kim, his father's oldest friend, leans forward. We've seen this before. The moment contact happens, the countdown accelerates. You have until New Year's. Maybe less. I won't see her again. You will. They always do. Elder Song pulls out photographs.
Surveillance photo.
Zola, leaving the church. Entering her apartment. Walking to the hospital. Buying groceries. We've been watching. So have the choice. Dae-hyun's blood goes ice cold.
What?
The Choi family knows about her. They know you've been visiting. They think she's your weakness. Elder Kim taps one photograph. They're planning something for Christmas Eve. During the church service, they'll make an example of her to break you. Then I'll move her. Get her out of Busan. Out of Korea. She won't go. We tried. Sent people to warn her. She thinks it's a racist threat. Told them she's not leaving. Elder Song's smile is grim. Strong woman. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong man. I can protect her.
No.
You can't. The curse and the choice together?
She's already dead.
You're just choosing how bloody it gets. Dae-hyun's fists clench. What are you saying? We're saying end it now.
Cleanly.
Before the choice, make it painful. Before the curse, makes it worse. Give her mercy. She won't suffer for meeting you. You want me to kill her. We want you to save her from a worse death. The room falls silent except for snow tapping against windows. 8 old men watch him with eyes that have ordered deaths before. Easy deaths, necessary deaths. They think they're being kind. Dae-hyun thinks they're monsters. Realizes he's no different. I'll handle it, he says quietly.
How?
My way. He walks out before they can argue, out into snow that's falling so thick it erases the world. His driver waits by the car, but Dae-hyun waves him off. He needs to walk. Needs to think. Needs to figure out how to save someone he shouldn't have met, shouldn't have touched, shouldn't have let into his ruined heart. His phone rings. Unknown number. Mr. Kong. A woman's voice. Accented.
Familiar.
This is Dr. Park from Busan General. I work with Zola Adebayo. She asked me to call you. Dae-hyun stops walking. Is she hurt?
No.
But she received something tonight. A letter. From South Africa. She's very upset. Won't tell me what it says. But she mentioned your name. Said if something happened to her, I should contact you. Where is she? The church. She's been there for 3 hours. I'm worried about her. Dae-hyun is running before the call ends. He finds her in the dark. She didn't light the candles tonight. Just sits in shadow, a piece of paper clutched in shaking hands. She doesn't look up when he enters. Doesn't seem surprised he's there. They know, she whispers. My family knows about you.
How?
Someone told them. Someone here. Sent photos. She holds up the letter, and even in darkness, he can see it trembles. They say I'm completing the curse. That by binding my soul to yours, I'm losing their protection. That I'll die spiritually before I die physically. Zola. They say you're cursed too. That your family has a death sentence on love. That we're killing each other just by existing in the same space. She finally looks at him, tears tracking down her face. Is it true? Are you cursed? He could lie, should lie. But he's done with lies. Yes.
How?
Every man in my family who falls in love dies before New Year's. It's been happening for 6 generations.
I don't know why.
I don't know how to stop it. And the women? They die too. Always. The curse takes them first, makes us watch, then takes us. It's punishment. Warning. I don't know. Zola stands slowly, walks to him, stops close enough that he can see her eyes, red from crying. How long do we have, she asks. Until Christmas. Maybe New Year's. And you knew this. When you came here. When you kept coming back. You knew. Yes. She should slap him. Should scream. Should run. Instead, she says, I knew too. What? Not about your curse specifically. But I felt something. That first night, when you walked in, I felt heaviness.
Danger.
Something wrong. She touches his chest, palm flat over his heart. I knew better. I've always known better. But I let you stay anyway.
Why?
Because I'm tired of being safe. Because safe means alone. Because when you look at me, I feel seen in a way I haven't felt in years. Her voice breaks. Because maybe I'd rather have 2 weeks of feeling alive than 50 years of existing. You don't mean that. Don't I? She's crying harder now. I fled one curse and walked straight into another. Maybe I'm just destined for this. Maybe we both are. I can still walk away. I can disappear. The elders say if I cut contact now, you might survive. And you? I'll die anyway. Alone. Empty. But you'll live. Zola's hand slides up to his face, cradling his jaw. Her thumb brushes his cheekbone, and the touch undoes him completely. I don't want you to die alone, she whispers. I don't want to live knowing I could have chosen you and didn't. That's not survival. That's just a different kind of death. This is insane. Completely. We'll both die. Probably. The Choice are planning to attack the Christmas service.
They know about you.
They'll use you to destroy me. Then we fight back. Together. We don't let curses and gangs and terrified old men decide how we love. Love. She kisses him.
Soft.
Brief. Inevitable. The church lights explode. Every single one. Glass rains down like snow, and in the darkness, Dae-hyun feels the curse activate fully, sinking hooks into his chest, pulling tight. But Zola is in his arms, warm and alive and choosing this. Choosing him. And if he's going to die, at least it will be for something real. We have 5 days, he says against her hair. Then we make them count. He pulls back enough to see her face. I'm going to tell you everything.
Who I am.
What I do. It's going to change how you see me. Try me. So he does. In the dark church, surrounded by broken glass and the smell of burnt wiring, Kang Dae-hyun tells his truth. He speaks about violence and money and the weight of leading a criminal empire he never wanted but inherited anyway. He confesses to murders, to extortion, to every dark thing he's done in the name of family and power. Zola listens without interrupting. When he finishes, she's quiet for a long moment. Okay, she finally says. Okay, you're a criminal. A killer. Everything my family warned me about Korean gangs. She takes his hands. But you're also the man who sat quietly in a church for weeks, who listened to my stories, who looked at me like I was human instead of exotic. You're both things. I'm choosing to see all of you. That's a terrible choice. Most good choices are. They leave together, his hand in hers, and the snow has stopped falling. The city holds its breath. Christmas lights seem dimmer, the streets emptier. In the distance, sirens wail. Somewhere, the Choice are planning. Somewhere, his grandmother is praying to ancestors who won't answer. Somewhere, 2 curses are colliding, and the impact will leave bodies. But tonight, Dae-hyun walks Zola home, and for 5 perfect blocks, they're just 2 people who found each other in the dark. She lives above a restaurant that smells like grilled fish and garlic. At her door, she hesitates. I'm scared, she admits. Me too. Good. That means we're being smart about how stupid this is. She kisses him again, longer this time, and he tastes salt from her tears and something sweet underneath. When they part, she's smiling. 5 days, she says. Let's make them legendary. Legendary? If we're going out as the greatest love story Korea and Africa ever produced. Deal?
Deal.
She disappears inside, and Dae-hyun stands in the cold, feeling the curse wrap tighter around his ribs. His phone buzzes. A text from Elder Song. You've sealed both your fates. God have mercy on you. He doesn't need mercy. He needs a miracle. Or a plan. Actually, he needs both. Before I continue, I need something from you. Screenshot your favorite line from this story so far and post it on social media. Tag us. Share this video. Because what happens next, you're going to want everyone to see. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll want to catch the ending. Christmas Eve arrives dressed in ice. The entire city looks frozen, beautiful and cruel in equal measure. Dae-hyun hasn't slept in 3 days. He's spent every hour planning, strategizing, calling in favors from allies he didn't know he still had. The Choi family's plan is simple. Attack the Christmas service, take Zola hostage, force Dae-hyun to surrender his territory, or watch her die. His plan is simpler. Make sure that doesn't happen. He meets Zola at noon in a small cafe, away from the church, away from his estate. She looks tired but determined, wearing a red dress that makes her skin glow. You look beautiful, he says. You look terrified. Both can be true. She sits across from him, reaches for his hand. Tell me the plan. You don't come to the church tonight. You get on a train to Seoul, then a plane to anywhere. I'll handle the choice.
No.
Zola.
No.
We agreed. Together. If I run, they'll just find me later. If you face them alone, you'll die. So we do this together, or we don't do it at all. You could die. We're already dying. The curse, remember? At least this way, we choose how. He wants to argue. He wants to lock her in a safe room and face this alone. But he sees the steel in her eyes, the same strength that let her flee Africa, build a life in a foreign country, stand up to a man she knows is dangerous, and choose him anyway. Okay, he says. Together.
Together.
She squeezes his hand. Now tell me the real plan.
He does.
It's risky, violent, and depends on timing so precise that one mistake means death. Zola listens, asks smart questions, suggests modifications that actually improve his strategy. By the time they finish, the winter sun is setting, painting the cafe windows orange and gold. One more thing, Zola says. If this goes wrong, if we don't make it, I need you to know something. Don't do goodbye speeches. I'm not. I'm doing an in case of emergency speech. Big difference. She leans closer. I need you to know that these 2 weeks with you have been the freest I've felt since leaving home. You gave me something I thought I'd never have again. Choice. Not someone else's plan for my life, but my own decision. My own risk. My own love. Love. Obviously. You think I'd risk a double curse for casual dating? She's smiling, but her eyes are wet. I love you, Daehyun. It's stupid and fast, and probably exactly what both our curses want. But it's real. So if we die tonight, I die loving you. That matters. He can't speak. Doesn't trust his voice. So he kisses her instead, right there in the cafe, while Korean grandmothers TSK and young couples pretend not to stare. He kisses her like she's oxygen, and he's been drowning for 34 years. When they break apart, she's laughing. Okay, we're definitely cursed. That felt too good to be safe. Everything about this is unsafe. Best kind of love. They separate at 4 p.m. Daehyun has preparations to make. Zola has a service to set up. They'll meet again at the church at 6 when the Christmas service begins and the choice make their move. 2 hours. That's all the time left. Daehyun spends it arming his most trusted men, positioning them around the church perimeter, calling in one final favor from a police captain who owes him 3 lives. He doesn't tell his grandmother what he's planning. Doesn't tell the elders. This is his choice, his fight, his curse to break or die trying. At 5:45, he enters the church through the back door. Zola is arranging candles, humming softly. She turns when she hears him, and her smile could light the whole city. Ready, she asks.
No.
You? Not even a little bit. Good. Healthy fear keeps you alive. Or gets you killed being too careful. The service starts at 6. By 6:15, the church is half full. Elderly Koreans who've worshipped here for decades. Young families with restless children. International students seeking home in a foreign place. And Zola, standing at the front, leading them in songs that blend Korean hymns with African spirituals, her voice filling the space with something transcendent. Daehyun watches from the back, gun hidden under his coat, counting exits, tracking movement outside the windows. His men have checked in. Positions secure. Choice spotted 3 blocks away, moving closer. At 6:30, the door opens. 5 men enter. Not Choi family. Not anyone Daehyun recognizes. They spread out along the walls, hands in pockets, eyes scanning the room. Professional. Military trained. Hired help. Then the main doors burst open. Choi Jin-woo walks in like he owns the place, flanked by 10 more men, all armed, all smiling. He's younger than Daehyun expected, mid-30s, expensive suit, movie star face hiding a sociopath's soul. Kong Daehyun, Jin-woo announces loudly. Sorry to interrupt Christmas. But we have business to discuss. The church goes silent. Zola stops singing. The families grab their children. The elderly freeze in their pews. Dae-hyun stands slowly. This is a church, Jinwoo. Take it outside. This is a statement. You've been avoiding our meetings, rejecting our terms. So we came to you. Jinwoo's eyes find Zola, and brought proper motivation. Touch her, and I'll paint these walls with your blood. Big threat from a man who's outnumbered 3-1. Count again. The 15 men Dae-hyun positioned inside the church reveal themselves. Hidden among the congregation, dressed as worshippers, all armed, all loyal. The choice tense. Jinwoo's smile falters. Clever, he admits. But we're still willing to die for this. Are you? For her? Yes. Jinwoo laughs. The great Kang Dae-hyun, brought low by a foreign woman. Your father would be ashamed. My father died for love. He'd understand. Then die like him. Jinwoo draws his gun. Everything happens at once. Dae-hyun moves, pulling his weapon. Zola drops behind the altar. The families scream. Gunfire erupts, deafening in the confined space. But Dae-hyun planned for this. His men are better positioned, better trained. 3 Choi soldiers drop before they can aim. Jinwoo dives behind a pew. Glass shatters. Wood splinters. Candles fall, spilling wax and flame. Fire catches on the old curtains. Dae-hyun reaches Zola behind the altar. You okay? Define okay. She's terrified but unhurt. This is insane. I know.
Stay down.
My men will get the families out. What about you? I'm ending this. He moves before she can argue, advancing on Jinwoo's position. More gunfire. More screams. But his men are doing their jobs. The families evacuate through side doors. The elderly are carried. The children are rushed to safety. Jinwoo stands, gun raised, and Dae-hyun fires first. The bullet takes him in the shoulder, spinning him around. He falls, cursing, and his remaining men scatter. Sirens wail outside. The police captain kept his promise. But the fire is spreading. Faster than expected. Hungrier. The old wood ignites like it's been waiting decades for this moment. Smoke fills the space, thick and black. Dae-hyun runs back to Zola, grabs her hand. We have to go. Now. They run for the exit, but a burning beam falls, blocking the door. Dae-hyun turns, searching for another way out. The side door. They sprint for it, lungs burning, eyes streaming. Behind them, the altar catches fire, and for a moment, Dae-hyun swears he sees faces in the flames. His father. His grandfather. All the cursed men watching. They burst into the alley. Cold air hits like a slap. Zola collapses, coughing. Dae-hyun pulls her away from the building, into the snow. Around them, chaos. Police arresting Choi soldiers. Firefighters arriving. His men dispersing into the night. Jinwoo is being loaded into an ambulance, screaming threats that no one listens to. The church burns, beautiful and terrible. 100 years of prayer going up in smoke and ash. Zola clings to Dae-hyun, shaking. We're alive. For now. For now is enough. She kisses him there in the snow, surrounded by sirens and smoke, and it tastes like survival. They break apart when his grandmother appears, being helped from a car by the police captain. You survived, she says, disbelief raw in her voice. We both did, Dae-hyun confirms. The curse doesn't get to win. Not tonight. His grandmother looks at Zola, really looks, and something shifts in her ancient eyes. What did you do, girl? Zola pulls a small pouch from inside her dress. A protection ritual. My grandmother's recipe. Not enough to break a curse, but enough to delay it. Buy us time. Maybe enough time to find a real solution. African magic against Korean curses. His grandmother laughs, bitter and amazed. It shouldn't work. But it did, Zola says firmly. It did. They stand there in the snow, watching the church burn, and Dae-hyun feels the curse in his chest loosen slightly. Not gone. Not broken. But weakened. like something ancient meeting something equally old and learning they're evenly matched. Christmas morning comes cold and clear. The church is rubble. The Choi family leadership is in custody. Jin-woo will survive but face decades in prison. Dae-hyun's territory is secure, his power intact, his reputation enhanced by surviving an assassination attempt. But he doesn't care about any of that. He cares about the woman sleeping in his apartment, exhausted from rituals and fear. He cares about the text from his grandmother. The tablets stopped cracking. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. He cares about the fact that it's December 25th, and they're both still breathing. Zola wakes around noon, finds him watching the snow fall. She joins him at the window, slips her hand into his. "We made it to Christmas," she says. "We did." The curse? Still there, but quieter. Confused, maybe. "You did something it didn't expect." "My grandmother's magic is old. Really old. Predates Christianity. Predates colonization. It's pure ancestor work. Maybe it's speaking a language your curse understands." "Think it'll hold?" "I don't know. But we have until New Year's to figure it out." That's 6 more days than we expected. 6 days. It should feel like nothing. Instead, it feels like everything. Over the next week, they work together. Zola performs protection rituals every night, mixing African tradition with Korean shamanism, creating something new. Dae-hyun consults with shamans his grandmother knows, people who understand curses, people who've studied them for generations. They learn things. The curse activates on love, yes, but specifically on physical consummation, on the completion of the bond. As long as they maintain spiritual connection but physical separation, the curse can't fully trigger. It's not a perfect solution. It's frustrating, limiting, medieval. But it's survival. New Year's Eve arrives. They spend it at the ruins of the church. The building is gone, but the land remains. Zola wants to rebuild. Make something new. A place where curses and cultures meet and maybe, possibly, learn to coexist. "This is insane," Dae-hyun says. "Everything about us is insane. At least this is productive insane. I'm a criminal. You're a volunteer. This shouldn't work." But it does. Somehow, impossibly, it does. At midnight, when the new year breaks, they're both still alive. The curse hasn't taken them. The deadline passed. They're standing in the snow, holding hands, breathing steam into the frozen air. "We did it," Zola whispers. "We survived. Together." Dae-hyun pulls her close, careful not to cross the lines they've drawn. "What now?" "Now we figure out how to live. How to love without dying. How to break a curse that's held your family for 6 generations. Think we can? I think we already started. That night in the church, when we chose each other despite everything, that was the first crack in the curse. Every day we survive together makes it bigger. This is going to take years."
Good.
"I'm not going anywhere." "Neither am I." They stand there until dawn, watching the sun rise on a year that shouldn't exist. A future they stole from fate. A love that refused to die. 3 months later, Zola stands in front of a new church. Smaller than the old one. Simpler. Built with money from Dae-hyun's legitimate businesses and donations from both Korean and African communities. It's a strange hybrid, this building. Korean architecture with African colors. Buddhist influence mixed with Christian and indigenous spirituality. It shouldn't work, but it does. Dae-hyun joins her at the dedication ceremony, and they cut the ribbon together. His grandmother is there. Zola's family, some of them, flew in from South Africa. The police captain attends. Even a few reformed Choi family members show up, seeking peace. The curse is still there. Dae-hyun feels it every day, a weight in his chest. But it's manageable now. Contained. They're learning to live with it while they work to destroy it. And maybe that's the point. Maybe breaking a curse isn't one dramatic moment. Maybe it's choosing love every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous, even when everything says you should run. Maybe that's how you win. That evening, alone in the new church, Zola sings. Dae-hyun listens from his usual spot in the back pew. When she finishes, she turns to him with that smile that still undoes him completely. "You know what I realized?" she says. "What?" "That night at Christmas, when the curse was supposed to kill us. We were so busy fighting the choice that we forgot to be afraid of it. We just lived.
Fought.
Chose each other. And the curse didn't know what to do with that." You think that's the secret? Just ignore it.
No.
I think the secret is choosing something bigger than the curse. Something worth dying for. And then refusing to die because you're not done living yet. She walks to him, sits beside him, takes his hand. They sit like they did that first night, close but careful, present but patient. "How long do you think we have?" Dae-hyun asks. "Forever. Or tomorrow.
Or somewhere in between.
Does it matter?" "Not really." "Then stop counting and start living." So he does. They both do. Every day is borrowed time, stolen moments, a middle finger to destiny. But it's theirs. Completely, impossibly, beautifully theirs. Some loves aren't meant to last. Some loves are meant to break curses. And some loves do both. This is one of those loves. Before you go, I need one last thing. Comment below and tell me what you would have done differently. Would you have fought the curse or accepted fate? And if this story moved you, if it made you feel something real, share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear that love is worth fighting for, even when the odds are impossible. Even when the world says you should quit. Especially then. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and remember, some stories aren't just stories. Some stories are reminders that we're all fighting our own curses, and sometimes, love is the only weapon that works. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.